Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. From now through May 6th, if you use that promo code, you will automatically be entered into a drawing to win a War of the Spark booster box. See the description below for details. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to this special edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. This is our April 2019 Picks of the Month video. And a reminder about these Pick of the Month videos, they do go out to the gold patrons first. By the time you see this on YouTube, it might be about 24 or 48 hours later. Prices could have shifted just a little bit, but I'm not expecting big changes for the cards we're talking about today. Without any further ado, let's get into the content. Before we look at the cards though, I do want to outline the purpose of this series because it has caused a lot of confusion over the past few months, and part of that is, of course, my fault because I don't think I've been clear enough as to what the purpose of these videos are. Basically, we're going to look at cards that could be going up in value over the course of the next few months or maybe years in some cases, but they are cards that I feel like are at a good price point right now. If you've been thinking about picking up one of these cards but you've been putting it off, this video is just a reminder to say this might be a good time to pick it up for various reasons. Now, in the past, I have done different themes to these videos. I'm not going to do that anymore. The themes seem to cause more confusion than anything. For example, last month I did a video talking about some popular commanders that could be going up in value, things like Atraxa, Brea, etc. However, because of the way I think I presented the material, it turned more into a debate about what the word affordable means, and it turned into people saying, well, why are we talking about commanders when we could be talking about other cards? And I think they missed the point, meaning they didn't go out there and probably buy their Atraxas and Breas before they spiked, and that's not what I want to happen. Again, I blame myself for that. I don't think I made it clear enough. So I just want to make it crystal clear. The other thing I want to point out is this is not about getting rich quick. I'm not picking cards here that are things you should be thinking about buying lots of quantities of and trying to flip. I'm picking cards that are at a good price point. They could be going up in the next few weeks or months, but not necessarily enough to make it worth your time to try to buy large quantities of them. So that's not what this video series is about either. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Let's get into it. Prime Speaker Vannifar at $6.20. Okay, so this is a standard card. You always got to be careful with cards that are still standard legal, and this one's going to be standard legal for a while, because when the rotation does eventually come, there's usually some kind of price dip. The question is, what will be the price point of the card when that dip finally happens? Will it be more than $6.20? Probably, and here's why. This is a good commander card that a lot of people have taken to, but it has been overshadowed a little bit by a lot of other good commander cards that came out around the same time, things like Teysa Karlov, Nikki of the Old Ways. Even more recently, now we have Feather the Redeemed. So I think a lot of people are gravitating in a lot of different directions when it comes to picking up new commanders and building new decks. This is one that could go up in value in the future as more people look back and realize maybe they missed this one when they were chasing other commanders. Okay, here's the gods from Hour of Devastation. So the first two you're pretty familiar with, right? The Locust God, this one has actually spiked recently up to $13.79. The Scarab God at $13.99. The Scorpion God, though, still very cheap at $1.47. Sure, that one is not as good in Commander as the other two are, of course, but that is real cheap. So I do think there's growth potential for all three of these cards. In some way, the Scorpion God probably has the most growth potential just because it is so cheap. The Scarab God, though, was a card that a lot of people were paying attention to, of course, in the standard seasons prior to the last rotation. And a lot of people forgot how good of a commander card it is. Also, the Locust God has gotten more popular recently, too. It's just a great commander card that's always going to get better as more cards are added to the format. These all have potential to go up in value. And these could be tough cards to reprint since there's not always going to be products where these are going to make sense. So I would expect value increases before the inevitable reprint does occur. Field of Ruin, $3.28. Another card that is still standard legal, and this one's an uncommon. It will lose probably a tad bit of value when it does rotate out this fall, but I don't think it's going to lose a lot because this card has never really done a whole lot in standard. Maybe some of that will change a little with the cards coming in for more of the spark. Time will tell. But in Modern, this card is a staple now. This is a huge Modern card. Will it be reprinted? Of course it will be reprinted. The question is, we just don't know when and where. And if this card doesn't get reprinted for maybe a year, 2 years down the road, by the time it actually happens and it takes a price dip, maybe it's a $10, $12 card, maybe it dips down to $6. So yeah, if you don't have a play set of these, I would definitely pick them up at this price point. All right, let's talk fetch lands. Not the enemy fetch lands. We talk about them all the time. You know what they do. A couple of them are actually pushing a ceiling point just because if you compare the amount of play they see and the amounts that are out there, it does feel like there's not as much room for growth. And eventually, yes, they will be reprinted somewhere in some sort of product. But let's talk about the Ally ones. The Ally ones have a bigger print run overall compared to the enemy ones. And that's because the Ally ones were in 2 standard sets, although the first one is pretty old Onslaught. The enemy ones were printed in Zendikar, but then in Modern Masters 2017, which was a short print set. So there's less of those out there compared to the Ally ones. So let's look at the price points here for Onslaught first. Bloodstained Mire, $44.99. These cards are not cheap, don't get me wrong, but I do think they have growth potential. Flooded Strand, $39.08. Polluted Delta, $54. Windswept Heath, $25.47. And Wooded Foothills, $42.63. So here's the thing. Will these be reprinted again outside of the cons reprints we've already seen? Yes, they will be reprinted. And when that happens, they will take a cut of some kind. But again, we don't know when or where that's going to happen. And by that point, who knows how high these could be. These are the original ones too. They're always going to hold some value. A lot of collectors will just want these because they are the original. They're not going to lose as much value as maybe the cons ones would if there was a reprint. So keep that in mind. Let's look at the cons ones. Here we are, Cons of Tarkir, a lot higher than you might have been expecting if you haven't been watching this closely. These have been moving up slowly over a little bit of time now. As a matter of fact, we talked about these a number of months ago in a different Picks of the Month video. They were probably less than half of this value at that point, so they have been trending up. Bloodstained Mire, $35. Flooded Strand, $27.34. Polluted Delta, $30. Now, if you're curious why Windswept Heath is actually cheaper than all the other ones, it's because there was a Magic Origins Clash pack that included a copy of that card in it. So it was the same printing, it was a cons printing of the card, but more copies got out there in circulation. Now couple that with the fact that this one sees a little less constructed play than the others, and you have yourself a pretty big price differential. Now, it just goes to show you if they were able to work the other 4 fetches into some kind of product like that, maybe the prices wouldn't be so extreme right now. It does illustrate how those types of products can impact prices long term. Anyway, Windswept Heath is $16.84 and Wooded Foothills is $30.78. With that being said, fetch lands are just amazing. They see tons of modern play, they see legacy play, they're going to continue to see play in casual formats Commander. So there's always going to be a lot of different players interested in picking them up. They're not something Wizards likes to reprint a lot or actually can work it into a lot of places. So because of that, there are always going to be cards that have some value attached to them. If you don't have playsets yet and you want to try to pick them up, I think this is just as good a time as any. All right, let's talk about some high roller cards now. Original dual lands, all 10 of them, but these are the ones from Revised. Now, we know Alpha Beta Unlimited ones have been going crazy for a long time now. They are extremely expensive. These are also extremely expensive. I'll bring the prices up in just a minute. However, they are the most affordable option, and they are starting to move up now. They were stagnant for a while as a lot of collectors were focusing on the unlimited ones, but now that those price points are getting higher and higher, more people are turning their attention to these. So let's see what they're valued at currently. Okay, they are not cheap, but remember, this series isn't about cheap cards. It's about cards that could increase in value. If you care about your cards going up in value, I guess there's no safer purchase than a reserve list card, especially from those early sets, because you know they're not going to be reprinted at any time. Badlands, $247.92. Bayou, $297.25. Plateau, $140.51. Savannah, $187.56. Scrublands, $189.99. Taiga, $170.50. Tropical Island, $299.99. Tundra, $332.62. Underground Sea, $600. That's crazy. And Volcanic Island, $449.97. Will Underground Sea break the $600 mark before probably the end of the year? Of course it will. Card will probably be up maybe closer to $625, $650, and that growth is going to continue on over time. So yes, all of these cards, even the ones that are a little bit lower, like Plateau, for example, that one is still not quite at $150. That will break $150, I'm sure, before the end of the year. Now, if you just want to own one of these, well, maybe Plateau's your best bet. Some people like to try to pick one copy up for Commander purposes. So they just want one of each, but that has now also become a very expensive endeavor. Much less if you're trying to play, I don't know, Legacy or Vintage or something and you want multiple copies of some of these. This is not cheap, and long term, they will yield value, I have no doubt, But the investment to get on board with these things are very expensive. And again, I'm not recommending going out there and buying every copy of these you can find. The investment is just too big and too risky. But if you are thinking of picking one of these up for a commander deck, you want to save some money for a while. Again, there's going to be probably no better time than the present. All right, that's our Market Watch for today. But until next time, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.